Wacky Wednesday.
It's Wacky Wednesday con El Bumper.
Unfiltered. The real deal. No pre-planning. No chingaderas. Straight up from the bill.
Wacky Wednesday.
B-Town's very own.
It's Wacky Wednesday con El Bumper.
Here's your host, Bumper Gomez.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? I hope y'all are having a great week. Happy hump day. I want to welcome you. I'm wearing a suit, man. Check it out. Just don't ask me to stand up. I don't want to stand up. If I stand up, it's not gonna be funny. I'd like to welcome everybody to Wacky Wednesday. Tonight's a unique night. I've been not dreading it, but I've been waiting for it. It's gonna be cool, man. It's gonna be a cool ride. Starting to get some gear in. Check it out. Shout out to my Tia Norma for making the mask, and my cousin Bubba, Jaime Cano, for making me the Wacky Wednesday t-shirt. Thank you, Tia. I appreciate it. Thanks, Bubba. How's everybody doing tonight, man? I hope everybody's having like I said, a great week. I didn't know what to wear, man. I was like, man, do I get dressed up? Do I do what? I have to wear my shirt. So I went ahead and went with the shirt, and I said, man, might as well spruce it up. Check it out. Put on the old trusty Express jacket. Can never go wrong. But I also had to represent South Texas and Texas with the Whataburger hat. So shout out to Whataburger for the nice gear. Me and my wife were counting. We lost count on the episode, so I'm going to give up on the episode. Just going to call it what it is. I labeled it Bumpers Wacky Wednesday, and it's my story. It's going to be hard to fit my whole life in about 2 hours. If I go over it, I go over a little bit. But it's going to be a unique show, man. It's going to be really unique. I thank you to all my faithful viewers that tune in every Wednesday. They make it part of their week. It's already on their schedule. They know it's 7:30. I just got messages right now before the show starts like, hey, good luck. Can't wait to see you, hear your story. Like that gives me motivation to do what I do. I'm doing this kind of by myself tonight. My wife is here. She'll be on a little bit later. But I'm already I'm already reading the comments. But man, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Tonight's gonna be crazy. My first time, for the record, I actually jotted down some stuff to try to stay in chronological order so I don't go left and right and talking about when I'm 30 and then going back to when I was 4. Don't want to do that. But I just, man, dude, I really, I don't know. I was not editing. I didn't edit any. I was going to some of the videos tonight. I'll be sharing some videos that my kids, my mom, and my brothers and sisters put together for me, and I'll be sharing them. You guys can see for yourself. The same way they send them to me is the same way you're going to see them. So again, man, thanks for joining us. I'm really looking forward to spilling my beans in a sense. I plead the fifth if you bring shit up. Yeah, so when my wife gets here, she'll help me follow along with the comments. So if I don't read your comment or I don't see your comment right away, bear with me because I'm doing 100 different things at the same time, and just trying to stay in chronological order. First of all, my name is Jose Alfredo Gomez. I say that again. My name is Jose Alfredo Gomez. And I'm named after my father and my grandfather. My grandfather on my mom's side, and my father, is my middle name. So many of you guys didn't know. You guys really didn't. When I say that, people are like, "Man, Jose Gomez? Nah, bro, I don't know who that is." You know what I mean? Or when I'm around some of my friends that I've had for years, and we go somewhere, and they're like, "Hey, what's your name?" And I say Jose Gomez. They'll give me the look like, "Bro, your name's Jose?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's my name. It's not Bumper." Um, but the name Bumper, man, the name Bumper goes back, and I kid you guys not. People always give me the look when I tell them that's been my name since I was almost 3 days old. Literally 3 days, the first week of my life of coming home, that was my name. And I'll give you guys a story of my name. My mom is the only girl out of 10 kids. She had 9 brothers, and my mom is the only girl. So when I was born, I have uncles who are just a few years older than me, and I actually have I have 2 uncles who are actually younger than me. One of them is my Uncle Jude, rest in peace. He was about 2 years older than me. So he was just starting to talk and move around the house when my mom brought me home. And the story goes was that, my grandfather, his English was very broken. His Spanish was his language. And so I hear my mom tell me that, as she would change my pamper or whatever, my Uncle Jude would come around and he would say, pumper, pumper, pumper. And my grandfather, hearing him say that, tried to pronounce it the way he said it, pamper, which he was trying to say pamper, but it came out like with bumper, right? Or pumper. And my grandfather changed it to like, ooh, look, he's calling him pumper, pumper, pumper. And then my uncles, everybody added to it. The next thing you know, pamper went to pumper, went to bumper. So it's not because I bump into things. It's not because, I don't know, whatever reason you ever thought that I had the name Bumper, that's the reason. It goes back, way back. Speaking of the early years, I was born in Corpus Christi, Texas, Nueces County, and it's a county here in Texas. I was born there. I was brought home, I think, at 3 days old. My mom was very young when she brought me home. And, of course, I can't remember as a baby just the stories that were given. But, yeah, I was born in Corpus Christi. That was a hospital that I was born at. Not that we were from there. Drove down a little bit and came back to Beeville. And that's where I was raised. I was raised in a small town called Beeville, Texas. For my viewers watching from out of state, you can look it up. It's just like it sounds, like the bug, the bee, and then Advil to it. I love that place. I have so many fond memories of being there. I have so many fond memories of just enjoying life there, how simple things were, and things like that. So. Let me see. Where are my pictures at? I had some pictures up here that I wanted to put up, but I guess they kind of went away. Yeah. So Beeville is where I was born, and I was raised there. I went to I was raised there on the west side of Beeville, Texas. If you're not familiar, again, the west side of Beeville, behind the Boys and Girls Club area, back in that area. Those of you that are familiar with Beeville, and that's what made me today. Like, it literally, I can go back to many moments, many times Many memories I have of friends, of my brothers, my family, my tios, my tias, everybody there. Like everything revolves around that area of town. Uh, I was raised by a great mom and dad. You know, I couldn't have asked for a more humble and better upbringing. And if I get choked up sometimes during tonight's, man, don't give me a hard time. I'm just trying to be real. I'm being as real as I want Wacky Wednesday to be real to anybody that I bring in front of you, and we talk about their stories. So I'm just trying to be really real. You know, so my mom raised me very young. I want to say my mom was probably 18 or 19 when she had me, and we came and lived with my grandparents for a little while. Um, it, I had, you know, real quickly, I had my brother Henry. I think he's like a year and a half behind me, and then my brother Edward's another year and a half behind him, and then I have my little sister Marisa, and then my baby sister Monica. It was Henry, Edward, and Bumper for as long as I can remember. We were the HEB brothers. Too bad we don't own the grocery store HEB, but that's what they would call us, the HEB brothers, Henry, Edward, and Bumper. And growing up, like I said, growing up there, man, my mom and dad raised us to. We weren't rich by far, and I wouldn't even call us middle class, not even close. But we always had what we needed. We always had what we needed. You know, my mom always made sure that we had money for snacks, you know, money to go to the boys' club with, to eat a taco, whatever the case may be. My mom always made it happen. Shout out to my mom if I forget. Mom, I love you. Yeah, growing up there, I think the earliest memories I have are probably like 5 years old, going to Jackson kindergarten. And I know some of my viewers can remember Jackson kindergarten. A lot. I think it's a storage facility for BISD now. But I remember going there. I had Miss Beamer. She was my kindergarten teacher, Miss Beamer. I still remember her name. And Miss Bettis was her aide. I got good memory with teachers, especially ones that I really liked. And I can remember my friends. Like I can remember my friend Felipe Peralta. I can remember. Man, he just sticks in my Benny Puente. I can remember these guys just like, you know, being there. These like the first names that pop in my head. I went to kinder there, and it was like I said. I'm trying to stay in chronological order here. Beeville was it was a great place to grow up, man. Like we talk about racism now and stuff, and I kind of think back. I try to think back, like, was there racism when we were growing up? And I can't remember it. And if it was, like, I was too young to realize it. But I really don't think that we were ever raised around any kind of racism. I mean, it was just everybody kind of grew up there, and everybody loved each other. Everybody respected one another. So. You know, that's that. First grade, I know y'all are saying, Bumper, come on, bro, you're not going to do this. No, just kind of, you know. So first grade, I tried to, we went to, if y'all hear any background noise, that's my wife. She's walking into her position. Hey, your mic's off, so you're going to turn it on when you need it. I went to school. I went to school at FMC, man. I went to school at FMC in Beeville. They used to call it Fat Man's College. I don't know why, because we used to whip everybody's ass in all the little track meets that we would have between elementary schools. I mean, we were the road runners, dude. Come on, you know what I mean? So growing up there, man, I elementary school. I stayed at FMC from first grade to sixth grade. I got the most fond that. I have so many memories, man. I lie. First grade, I went to Tyler. I went to Tyler. I had Miss Martinez. My friend Maury Martinez's mom was my teacher. And then my mom got smart, left Tyler, and then we went to FMC. And I had Miss Voss for second grade, Miss Favre for third grade, Miss Jenkins for fourth grade, Miss McTee for fifth grade, oh God, I can't remember my sixth grade teacher. Sorry, it'll come to me. But yeah, grew up there, and during that time, you know, you're taking me to probably about 7 or 8 years old. I start remembering what in my town, what I thought everything revolved around. And what I thought everything revolved around was the Beeville Boys and Girls Club, the club that beats the streets. There's no way I was going to come on here without telling a big part of my life. It really starts there. It really does. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's just emotional, man, because that's what we had. That's every day after school. You know, summertime. That's who took care of us. You know, that's who took care of us. That's who.
That was your babysitter?
No, yeah, that was our babysitter. But man, we had so many people. Mike Loya, Dan Thomas. If I forget a name, I'm sorry. Dan Chapa, David Chapa, who's still there. He still runs the boys club. Man, gave us a great tour the last time I was down. You know, it was great to walk around, and the smell is still there. Margot, I'm sorry, I can't remember your name right now. Earl the Pearl. Randy Lavanos, God, man, I can't think. So for my viewers that are not familiar with what I'm talking about, so basically the Boys and Girls Club is where we would go, and they had pool tables, they had board games, they had all the gym, everything in the gym. We played everything from baseball, football, basketball, and we spent our majority of our time there. I mean, from literally, I think my mom would take us, the Boys Club wouldn't open till 9. We were out there at 7:45, dude. We were out there an hour and 15 minutes before they opened. Liz, I'm sorry, you're right, Edward, Liz, Ken Jefferson. I mean, Ken's a huge guy in our community. Great man, police officer, and he's still impacting lives to this. He impacts my nephew's life, so it's pretty cool. And I'm staying around that 6-year-old, a 10-year-old time frame. Sports was my life. Sports was our life. Sports was what every kid in Beeville looked forward to. You know, it was crazy. Like I got people right now that are watching, and I just saw a comment off to the left of my thing. Crusher, he's my friend on here. Crusher, I can't even remember your real name, bro. You're like Bumper. Your real name is on Facebook, but I still call you Crusher. A brother in Christ, man, huge axe brother. Shout out to Crusher, playing foosball. The dude ran the foosball table. But we grew up there, man, and it was just like every day, no matter what night you had, no matter what kind of evening you had, no matter what kind of rough morning you had, the minute you walked into the Boys and Girls Club, it just brought a smile to your face. All your friends were there. They were all looking forward to seeing you, you know, and you just couldn't wait to go play a sport and get on a team and just, you know, learn that game. You know what I mean? Whatever game it was. So shout out to all those guys, man. If I didn't mention your name, you are a big part of my life. You guys were father figures, and my dad. My dad was one of the hardest, if not the hardest working man I ever met in my life. I mean, he would be gone before we woke up, and we would be done with boys club or done with baseball practice, football practice, you know, whatever it was. We'd be done for practice, and you're talking 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and my dad would barely be getting home from work. That was every single day except Sundays. Every now and then on a Saturday. Um, and I learned so much from him. Even at that 5 to 10 year old stage in my life, I learned quite a bit from him. I learned that no matter what your family, you have to do whatever it takes for your family to eat and for those bills to be paid. Whatever it is, whatever you got to do. If you got to work 14 hours a day, 15 hours a day, so be it. That's what you had to do. So that work ethic, definitely I took from my dad. My dad really, and you know what? It's funny is my dad, not that he instilled that in us, we just picked it up from him. Because I think instilling into somebody is like when you're around a lot. And my dad wasn't around a lot. And I'll talk about that, a little bit later, but he wasn't around a lot. And it wasn't his fault, it was just, that was his work, that was his job. He was providing for his family and providing for the things that we needed and for rent to be paid and bills to be paid. And that's the other luxury of, not luxury, and I'm not going to call it not a luxury, but, where I'm from, not too many people own homes. I think a lot of my friends are starting to own homes, and that's great. But from what I can remember, I think most people I knew grew up, everybody rented. Nobody owned their homes, you know what I mean? Just paid that rent, make sure that rent was due. We went to school. My mom made sure we were in school. We were straight A students. All of us were straight A students, man. I mean, my mom was really, believe it or not, I mean, those of you that know my mom now, she's a little different than she was in her younger years, and not in a bad way. I mean, she had 3 boys, and she was like on her own for the most part, trying to keep us straight. So, she really got on to us about schoolwork. I remember my handwriting. I owe my handwriting to my mother. If you ever seen my handwriting, people always like gone and my handwriting, like, oh my God, how do you write like that? Well, my mom would crumble my paper and throw it away and say, write it again because it's not neat. So I just learned to just do it right the first time. So, yeah, FMC, man. FMC, for all the viewers that from there, I'll bring back give you a little laugh. I remember Regular and Burger Boat. Like Regular and Burger Boat, man. Regular, every day you would in the morning they would come across and read the menu for the day, and you had 2 choices. You had the regular meal, which was like, spaghetti and maybe a fruit cup. And then you had the Burger Boat, which was Mondays was a hamburger, Tuesdays was a cheeseburger, Wednesdays was a steak burger, Thursdays was a hot dog, and Fridays was, I can't remember. But dude, I remember like if you wanted to sign up, and when you'd walk to the cafeteria, you'd stand behind that Burger Boat or that regular sign. One more thing before I leave that time frame, I wanna thank my tios, man, my mom's brothers, my dad's brothers, and my tias, my dad's sisters, for showing us love, man. Just showing us we never went without. We never went without. I mean, each one of my uncles. I mean, I could literally sit here and break them down one by one. If you went to my retirement, I broke them down one by one in my retirement speech. Literally, I broke down every one of my uncles, and I told them what I took from them. Each one of them, I took something from them, and I'm grateful for that. They're all great men. Shout out to El Sarape. Shout out to Sarape. I don't think it's still there anymore, but man, dude, I want to let you guys know, Ortiz, I can't remember. If somebody on the comments, let me know the family that ran the El Sarape for those years. But I want you guys to picture something, right? You have all these kids that are, I mean, hundreds of kids that would be at the Boys and Girls Club. You think we show up with a lunch bag every day to eat lunch? Hell no. My mom was not making lunch. So as long as we had $1, one U.S. American dollar, whether it's 10 dimes, 4 quarters, $1, however it could make it be, You go across the street from the Boys and Girls Club to El Sarape, and they would give you a taco, a little cup of soda, and all the chips you could eat. And that was enough to fill us up for the whole day of activities there at the Boys and Girls Club. We'd go in there sweaty, stinky, and they would never turn us down. No matter how packed the place was, they always had a table for us. And we always looked forward to eating. Their carne guisada with cheese was, I'm not a carne guisada with cheese, guys, but the carne guisada by itself was amazing. Lindo Ortiz, shout out to the Ortiz family. They never changed it. I mean, I don't know how long that went on. I think I was a teenager when I stopped going, and I think they were still doing it. So that's something I wanted to bring into my memories. Real touching. So 10 years old, man, kind of takes you to about what grade? What grade are we in 10 years old? Babe, you know?
10 years old, you should be in fifth grade.
Fifth grade?
Fourth or fifth grade, if
Fourth.
you're the right. If
Okay,
you don't have a late birthday, you should be in fifth grade.
I got you. So fourth or fifth grade, 10 years old. Our life revolved around baseball, honestly. If you know my mom's maiden's last name is 4 powerful letters, Cano, simple, Cano. And from where I'm from, when you say that last name, that's the first thing that's going to come to anybody's head. You come from a family of baseball players, and my grandfather was a legend. My great uncle, his twin, were legends in South Texas back in the 40s and 50s in baseball, and they just carried on to their kids and their kids as kids, and now their kids as kids as kids. So if you ever driving through the 200-acre park or Veterans Memorial Park, as you drive to the park, and the first field you come to on the right will be a softball field right after the football fields. It's named after both my grandfather and my great uncle, Manuel Cano. Coche and Wara, that was their nicknames. Man, what's up with we all grew up with nicknames. But I really take pride in that last name. My last name's Gomez, and I take very, very much pride in my last name. But my mom's maiden name, Cano. I mean, any kind of sports, any people I ever met throughout my life were from Beeville. You know, I always had to refer to, like, my mom is one of the Canos, like, oh, the ones who play baseball, the ones who are good in sports. Yes, those. Okay, yeah, I know your tío. I knew your tío Martín. I knew your tío Juan. I knew your tío Jaime. Whoever it was, they knew him, and it was a good way to connect. But Beeville, man, Little League gets heavy. It gets heavy. I have lifelong friends to this day. I mean, I was just with one. Shit, babe, what were we at Lenny's house a few days ago? Tuesday. You know, people that, how many of y'all can say that? Like, I know a lot of people can't say that, you know, how many friends they had growing up. I grew up with a lot of friends, man, and I still thank God for social media because we still can connect. But even without social media, we're still great friends. It's great to see my kids friends with their kids, and it's just like another generation. So it's a good feeling, man, knowing that you still have friends from all the way back then. Little League, 200-acre park. Shit, man, I played on the Cougars, 11 and 12-year-olds, and shout out to Mr. Amador. I think JT's on. I just saw him. JT, tell a shout out to your dad. He's a great coach. To Mitch Smith, Silky, to Ike Corrigan. If any of the Corrigans are watching, shout out to the father there, Ike. Great people who they just, like I always say, God put them in your life for a reason, and they stuck in my head. They're great mentors. They're still great men to this day. Rest in peace, Silky. You know, Little League, man. Little League was great. I love playing. I love being with my friends. And my mom, dude. My mom was always that loud lady in the that lady in the stands. You're just like, Jesus, man. Is she ever gonna shut up? And lo and behold, If you know me and you've been to any one of my kids' or my nephews, any game, it could be a ping pong game, and I'm watching and I'm cheering, you're gonna know we're there. I think my sister is my sister Madi. She carried the torch because I hear her in all her videos. Yeah, Cougars for life, JT, for sure, man. Eloy, yeah, Pimpo. Umpire, shout out to Pimpo. A teacher, great mentor, another Marine. There's so many people, man, so many people.
Hey, he was a ref when Jesse played football too, wasn't
Yeah, he was a ref. Yeah, he refereed one of Jesse's games. So with that being said, man, that's the 10 years old. You know what I mean? Like our life revolved around the Boys and Girls Club, riding bikes, and the days of how many of y'all remember the days of like your parents would leave to work in the summer, and there was no cell phones. There was no phone calls. There was no, hey, call me at noon and let me know where you're at. Call me at 3 and let me know when you're coming home. Hell no. Like, we literally could get on our bikes and go anywhere in that town as long as we were home before that sun came down. I think that was my mom's rule, you know. And she knew we were in the neighborhood. We were around. We would go and you know, if one of our friends invited us to eat lunch, my best friend growing up there in the neighborhood, I had a couple of them, more than a couple. But the ones in my head are Adan Farias Moreno, Sergeant Major Moreno. We'll get to in a few minutes. That sucker got me in the Marine Corps. He's still a Marine, so shout out to him in Japan. My buddy Joe Ray Alaman there in the corner. Ginny Rincon on the other corner. Like I grew up right there on that West Crockett area where I could remember. I grew up on West Powell, breakdancing. Man, I forgot breakdancing, babe. Wow. Dude, breakdancing was, shout out to Manny Sanchez out there, one of the greatest breakdancers of all time at the Bevo Boys and Girls Club. Showed us all his moves, and we grew up breakdancing, man, doing breakdance contests at the Boys Club, winning trophies, like the electric, you know, I mean, those were the life, man. That was the life. So then, you know, 11, 12 years old starts happening and your life starts changing, your body starts changing for sure. You know, your life starts changing. One of the greatest memories I have in that time frame was this place right here. This place right here holds a huge piece of my heart and my soul. It didn't look like that as what you're seeing now, you know, but that's right in the heart of the West Side right there. That's St. James Catholic Church in Beeville, and I was an altar boy there. Yes, believe it or not, me and my brothers were altar boys there, and it was crazy. It was we did you know, Brother Bob. Rest in peace, Brother Bob was a big part of our life there at the church. I think he's the first one that ever took us to the beach, took us to the mall, things that our parents didn't, not that they couldn't afford us, but they're so busy they couldn't ever take us to Corpus to a mall. I didn't even know what a mall was. Brother Bob would take all of us, load the car up, and we'd go to the beach, eat sandwiches, and I remember going to the beach with him. So, yeah, St. James, man, that was a place that holds. I did all my sacraments there. I was baptized there. I made my first communion there. I did my confirmation there. I did everything but get married there. So, but yeah, it was a big part of my life. So again, 11 and 12, man, I'm changing. I'm changing and getting to junior high and you know, more into girls and things like that. And I was worried about, you know, what clothes I was wearing, and instead of like, you know, school and getting straight A's, it was more like, yo, I gotta find a way to give me some Jabos. I gotta find a way to give me some Z Cavariccis, you know, some Genera hypercolor shirts for all. I'm taking it back old school, really showing our age right now. But yeah, I mean, those were 7th and 8th grade. Like those were the things that just worried about. The music was changing. The music was changing. I can't believe she'd call right now in the middle. Jalen, So I don't know. I really think, yeah, she threw me off. Yeah,
You're talking about hypercolor.
yeah. There you go. So hypercolor. And you know, like a typical teenager, man, you're starting to look at girls. You're starting to try to do more things and stuff like that. Uh, so my life started changing, man. And this is where you're gonna get serious, guys. This is where you're probably gonna sit back in your chair and scratch your head and be like, "What the hell is going on?" But my life, my life changed. It changed drastically in two ways. One I'll bring up in a few years, here in a few minutes when I get a few years later on down the path. But one more importantly was I was 12 or 13 years old. And if the story's correct, I remember being at my grandmother's house and I wanted to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Right? And if any of y'all have ever been to my Mocano's house, I mean, she had a drawer with like knives. Like there's no organization. You just like, there's butter knives, there's butcher knives, there's all kinds of knives. You open it, there's knives in there. So I remember going in there and I grabbed the knife. And I grabbed it because it was fancy. So when I grabbed the knife, I started making my sandwich. Well, when I was done making my sandwich, I went to the sink to rinse off the knife. And the knife had my mom's name on it. And it had another gentleman's name on it. And I'm not going to mention no names, not throwing anybody under the bus. But I was like, what in the hell is going on? Like, that's my mom's name. So I asked my grandmother, "Hey, Momo, what's this knife from?" And she just looked at me. She told me, "Put that knife in the sink and don't worry about it." So I did what she said. I put it in the sink and left it alone. Well, I remember eating my sandwich, and then I remember sitting down there in the kitchen, and my mom got there to pick me up. And my mom walked in, and I remember my grandmother, and my mom probably doesn't remember this, but I remember it clearly. I remember my mom and grandma started carrying a conversation in Spanish. And I remember my grandma telling my mother, like, "Hey, you know, this just happened. You know, when do you think you're going to tell your son this, that, and the other? You know, would you rather him find out from somebody else or whatever the case may be?" And I'm like, I understand every single word. I'm like, what? Dude, I got in that car. My mom was talking to me. I just ignored her. Like, I'm like, I don't even know you, woman. Like, I don't even know. Are you my mom? Like, what? It was just a weird feeling, man. It was a weird feeling. And I remember getting home and just laying in my bed, asking myself, like, what don't I know? Like, why would my mom, you know, why would my grandma tell me to throw that knife away or whatever? And that was that. You know, that was one thing. You know, but this episode led to something greater that I could never imagine was going to hit me like a ton of bricks. So picture a 13-year-old going through puberty, mind's going 100 miles an hour, you know, towards the end of puberty. There you go, babe. Thank you very much. I'm a late bloomer. And my mom, just for like a week or so, some stuff happened, and I just felt distant from her. Like I felt a distance from my mom. And if y'all knew us growing up, we loved our mom. I mean, I still love my mom, but my mom she was everything to us. You know what I mean? She got us everywhere we needed to be. Always made sure we had what we needed, cooked, everything. And I remember her saying, "Hey, tomorrow after school, we have to go by the church." And I'm already done being an altar boy. I'm like, man, what do you mean? I'm not being an altar boy no more. Like, those days are over with, you know? And hey, no, Ray, I got to leave you in suspense, bro. So my mom picks me up from school, and we drive to St. James Church, and we drive to the catechism building, which is behind the church. And rest in peace, like my tío, but he's more my primo, Deacon Castillo, was my grandfather's nephew and a deacon there at St. James. I remember going into a room with both of them, and he starts talking to me. And I'm 13 years old, and I'm listening to this deacon talk to me like, what are you talking about? And I can still remember the conversation. The conversation was, sometimes in life is like a train. Sometimes in life you have to, you get from point A to point B, but sometimes the train falls off the track. And you gotta find your way back on that track and keep going forward. And I'm scratching my head like, what in the hell is going on? And then he looks at my mother and he says, Lupita, I think you can tell him. I think he's okay to accept what you're going to tell him. So my mother looks at me and I can still see her face. And she's like, hey, what Deacon's trying to tell you is that, I made some mistakes in my life. And I'm like, okay, what does that got to do with me? She says, well, your dad, who you've been calling dad your entire life up until now, isn't your dad. So I sit back in the chair and my mom is bawling, right, uncontrollably, and I try to I look at her and just trying to comprehend what she's telling me, and she's like, yeah, mijo, that's not your real dad. I said, well, my last name's Gomez. It's Gomez. What do you mean? That's not. He goes, that's not your dad. And she's like, well, do you? I said, that's when I knew in my life that I was going to be a little more to absorb that at that moment. To absorb that, I looked at her. And I said, Mom, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because up until that moment in time, my dad had never, ever, ever treated me any differently than my brothers and my sister at the time. I think my sister was a baby. Never. He never treated me any differently. He had never, my dad's family had never, ever treated me any differently. My tias, my tios, none of them. I would have never known. If my mom would have never told me, I think until this day, I think I still would have never have known. And it shook me. I left there. I walked out of there, and I remember opening the doors. After my mom told me, I got upset. I got kind of angry a little bit. And I remember walking straight outside. And as soon as I opened those double doors, my dad was standing right there. He was standing right there, and he looked at me, and he said, "You all right?" I said, yeah, I'm all right. He said, there's something you want to tell me. You tell me right now, right here.
He said, don't be mad at your mom.
Because when we leave this place right now, it's over. It's done. And he's, you understand that? I said, I understand that. So if there's anything you want to tell me right now, you tell me right now. What could I tell? What could I tell a man who had done, who had been there for me since I was 6 months old? So with that being said, man, shout out to all the fathers out there like that. It takes a special man to raise a child like that. It really does. So to my dad, rest in peace. Love you, Dad. There's a picture of my dad right there with my brothers and sisters, little black and white picture.
Is Henry seated on his lap? Is Henry always a favorite?
So hey guys, sorry I'm crying. I'm being real, man. I'm being as real as I can, as real as I can be. If you see some pictures pop up, it's because I was supposed to bring them up later on, but there's a classic one. Check out the mom's eyeshadow. Here's one of my. I think that's my 10th birthday, dude. Birthday parties, dude. Birthday parties growing up were the best because I already knew what they were going to be. It was going to be a homemade cake like the one you see in this picture. It was going to be some candles that were probably already used. Just hopefully you had enough inside the drawer to make the number that you're going to be. And it was always me, Henry, Edward, Marisa, Jude, Jerry, and Chele, my 3 uncles. We were raised more like brothers. 6 of us were raised more like brothers because we were all in that age time frame. And our birthday parties always consisted of a birthday cake like that. Hopefully it was somewhat even. That one looks a little lopsided. And it was going to be some chili dogs. Some chili dogs, some chips, and maybe some sodas. If not, some Delaware Punch or something, some Kool-Aid. But if your tios were there, you were going to look out because your tio would pull out that wallet. My Uncle Jesse, if y'all know my Uncle Jesse, that dude, if he ever tells you he ain't got no money, he's lying. Because that's the only man that always has money in his wallet. So shout out to my tio Jesse, is always there. Juan and Robin, they were always there, always gave me a few bucks. So yeah, there's that right there. A little smile on my face. Here's a picture. A young woman raising 4 kids. My sister hasn't changed. She looks the same. Hey, don't start on the glasses, all right? Please don't start on those glasses. I always tell the joke, the glasses of, I think the insurance that we had, we would go get our eye exam. Me and Roger Martinez were talking about this the other day. We'd go get our eye exam by Jeb Baker's dad, Dr. Baker in downtown Bevo, and we'd get excited because we're going to go into where they have all the glasses. And you go into the glass room. When you go into the glass room, you would see that they have all the glasses. You start trying them on, like, oh man, these look cool. And then the secretary or the lady would come in and be like, Mr. Gomez, those glasses aren't in your insurance. You can only pick from these. And they were like ugly, real ugly, and like stupid ass ugly. So we had no choice. We had no choice to get. So those are the glasses. So that was a big turning point in my life, and I get to high school, man, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on high school. High school was literally man. If you ever watched the movie Dazed and Confused, anything like that, that's how we grew up. A little, not so old. I think that was more like 70s and early 80s. But, I mean, keg parties and I just think everybody was so much older in that time frame compared to, maybe it's because we're parents now and the kids, we don't see them every day in school. But I just thought we lived so much older in high school. And I love Beeville. Like, Beeville was, when I tell my kids stories of growing up there, high school parties and stuff, they kind of give me the look like, Dad, come on, you're. And then I have a friend come over and we start drinking beers and they're like, hey, Bumper, you remember this time? And I love it because I love to look over at my kids and they're just looking at me like, man, I've heard this story before. This is wild. Like, you guys aren't playing around, man. So that was pretty. High school was just, my freshman year was fresh to high school, and I was looking forward to it. I played football, basketball, and I think that's like my sophomore year. I really started. You're not gonna spend a lot of time in high school, Meskin. You never went to high school. Yeah, man. Like all the guys viewing. I mean, literally, our high school days was like we drive around. It's not, they have a Sonic now, but we didn't have a Sonic then. We had a place called Stars, and we'd whoever had a car, and we'd cruise with them, and we'd cruise around Stars, and then go all the way through town, go around the courthouse, come back, maybe stop at the North Shopping Center parking lot and shoot the shit with a couple of friends who's having the party. Hit out some ranch out in the middle of nowhere. 3 kegs. You don't know who bought them, but they're out there. They're cold. Big bonfire. Keg stands. I mean, you name it, dude. We did it. Sports. Sports was something. And then I say my junior year, life slowed down. Sophomore year, I think I was 16. I started seeing this girl, and one thing led to another, and it got serious. The crazy thing about it was that she already had a kid, and that was a very crazy time. I don't want to dwell on that era because she ended up being my wife and then my ex-wife, and my wife's in the background, which I don't mind, but
For the viewers, I really don't mind, guys.
I fell in love with her daughter, of being a dad, of showing somebody some direction in life. And it was different, man. I mean, our high school, for the viewers outside of my viewing area, my hometown, dude, I mean, high school pregnancy it wasn't the thing. Like, it wasn't cool to do, but shit, dude, our high school had a daycare in the back of the high school. So literally, like, I mean, BISD would not let you, get out of school. You know what I mean? Even if you were pregnant, they'd pick you up on the short bus. They'd pick up you and the baby and bring the baby to school. And they would have daycare providers to watch them in the back while you continue to go to school. So there's that.
Shit, my sister sent you to a different school.
Shout out to my tia Malicha. She's watching. Tia, I love you. I get to high school my senior year, 4 months before graduation. A big turning point in my life. January 1994. Was it January 19? No. It would have been like the Yeah, it'd have been January 94. If not, it was a year before when I was a junior. I'm walking out of class and I got earrings, like 2 earrings on each hole, and just, walking down the hallway being Mr. Cool. And a Marine recruiter pops out of the library and he's like, hey. And I start walking fast. And I'm like, hey, bro, what do you need? He's like, are you bumper? I'm like, yeah. He's like, hey, dude, your buddy Adam said you might be interested in joining the Marine Corps. I said, yeah, me? Yeah, right. You got me effed up, bro. You're talking to the wrong guy. And he's like, no, bro, I'm serious. So he sat me down in the library and he went over the whole Marine Corps thing. I said, you know what? Even if I wanted to do this, one, I'm not 18. I don't live at home, which I kind of skipped, right? The high school thing. At 16, I left home. And I started living with my girlfriend and her friends and just whoever. My grandma's house every now and then with my Uncle Jerry. I'd go crash in his room for a couple of months and back somebody else. And that's kind of how I did my junior and senior year of high school. I just kind of bounced around wherever I could lay my head down for a few weeks. And I ran into a Marine recruiter and I said, yeah, you know what? There I was. Bam. Raised my hand. I'm here in San Antonio. I think 2 weeks after I met the recruiter, I was already swearing in to become a United States Marine. And I had to go back to high school. Of course, you still got to graduate to leave. Well, come January, February time frame, I remember what the turning point was. I was working since the day that I was 14 years old. I'm going to bring back, dude, watch, y'all going to get some flashbacks right here. Check it out. If you guys can see the screen right now, you're going to see 2 big squares, man. Don't model the dollar store at the bottom. But the one on top says Stanley's, and the one underneath says Wieners. And I actually worked at both places, and they both were in the same shopping center. I worked when I was 14. The day that I turned 14, I worked at Stanley's. Please don't come on here and say some of the illegal things I used to do at Stanley's to all my viewers. Yes, I used to sell beer to minors. Yes, yes, I did. Yes, before you guys put on here. But I also worked at Wieners, and those of you from South Texas know Wieners. That's the only cool place to get clothes back in the day. So there's a little flashback of Beeville. It's all I could find for the sign. But yeah, man, I worked there, and that month I had Dr. McTee, my 5th grade teacher's husband, 12th grade English teacher. We had to do a research paper. Y'all remember doing the research paper? I don't think they do research papers the way we did research papers back in the day, going to the library, writing all your references and all that stuff, 3x5 cards, and I still remember it. And I'm like, dude, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I had my left pocket and my right pocket full of money. I was working. I was a craps, if y'all don't know what that is, a dice playing mofo. Those bring back some flashbacks to my boys in high school. We used to gamble like it was cool. And I had money. For me, I thought I had money for days. I thought I had money for days. And that was important. Like, you know what? I'll quit school.
So we need to
I'll quit school. Good one, Steve. I'll quit school and I'll continue like that. So I did. I dropped out. I dropped out of high school with 4 months left. January, February 1994. I stopped going. My mom came looking for me, crying. My dad. Everybody would come looking for me, crying. Like, what are you doing? You need to go back to school. Like, you need this. You're the oldest. You have to graduate. This, that, and the other. And I'm like, nah, I don't care. I got a chick. I'm making some money. I'm staying in an apartment. What else do I need? I didn't have a car. I had a badass bike, though. I had a badass bike. But, and that's what I thought I needed. I really thought that that's what life was about. And so the summer came. My friends graduated. All my buddies that left to the Marine Corps that we all signed up together, they all left. And they were all coming back. And I would talk to them. They were like, dude, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? You need to. And I'm like, no. And God places people in your life at a certain time for a certain reason. And if I get him wrong, please forgive me. He ends up being my cousin, but he's been a long-time educator in Beeville. I remember sleeping in the apartment and getting a hard knock on the door. And I answer the door, and it's Fred Moron. No, not Fred. Frankie. And he calls me outside because he doesn't want to talk to me there in front of, my ex-wife and stuff. He calls me outside, and he takes me behind his car, and he literally looks at me and he tells me, "What the fuck are you doing?" Just like that. And this is an educator, like a man who I don't think I've ever heard him cuss before that. And he told me, "Look, man, I know what you think life is, but you have to go back to school. Check this out." He said, "I got something for you. Tell me if it's up your alley." And I said, "What is it?" He said, "You can go back to high school, man. You can go back to high school, but you're gonna go to a school that we opened up. It's called Conley Alternative School, was the name of it." And that's kind of what I looked like back in that time frame. And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Well, you're gonna go to this school. You'll go to school half a day. You'll go to school half a day, and you can go to work. You can still make money." So I'm like, "Cool." Well, no, don't cross right there. Don't cross right there. Don't cross right there. What do you? Oh, you want to give me a hug? Come over here. You can give me a hug. Just don't step on no wires. Give me a hug. Jacob wants to give me his. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
So I go to this alternative school, man. It's pretty cool. I'm the only senior in there. I think there's a couple of us. And they literally gave me my work, and I sit outside the classroom. It was in downtown. What is that? The ghost is at it again with the reaction emoji?
Yeah, her phone is just going off on the reactions.
Oh, okay.
I think her screen is stuck. Okay.
So I finished school there. I started in August, and I did my whole year because I didn't pass anything. So I did everything. I was done by December 10th of 2000. December 10th, 1994. I finished, and he set me up though. He set me up because the second he got into his car, I hear the gravel. Another car driving up. Car drives up. Who is it? It's old Staff Sergeant Pedro Sanchez. Shout out to Sanchez. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine on Facebook. Retired Marine. My recruiter. All my friends recruiter. Everybody from Beeville, Texas in the 90s recruiter. And he's like, "Hey, cabron, come here." And I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "Hey, you gonna?" I said, "No, if I don't finish, that means I don't have to go, right? I don't have to go anymore." And he's like, No. He said, you can still go. And I just talked to the man who just talked to you, and so with that being said, you can go ahead and you can still go join the Marine Corps. So I graduated December 10th, man. December 27th, I take that back. I graduated December 16th from school. I had about 9 days of freedom. I felt like a man turning myself in. I had 9 days of freedom, and I actually went back home. I went back home, and I spent them with my mom and my dad and my brothers and my sisters, and little did I know it was going to be the last time I saw one of the most powerful figures ever in my life, which is my grandfather. We had a Christmas, on Christmas Day, my Uncle Martin, rest in peace to my Tio Martin as well. He had a huge party, and everybody came over. And I remember my grandfather talking to me, and he's just like, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" he wasn't a fan of the military. I'll be honest with you. Like he between me and him, he wasn't a big fan of it. But he talked to me and he just told me how proud he was of me for doing something that none of his kids had done, none of his grandkids had done. And I hold that conversation forever dearly in my heart. It was the last time I saw him alive. I left to boot camp the day after Christmas, December 26, 1994. I left to boot camp. And wow, was that. Not going to go into boot camp stories, man, but for me, it was, I know I'm going to sound real conceited. To me, it was easy. I could run like the wind. I weighed 116 pounds soaking wet. 116 pounds soaking wet. So, with that being said, I graduated number 1 in boot camp. It was easy. It came to me. I mean, where else would you get 3 meals a day, somewhere to sleep, and you just got to hear somebody yell at you all day? It was easy, man. Simple. So I graduated number 1 from boot camp out of 110 recruits, I believe, or 105, something like that. We had one of the biggest. We had huge platoons, and my son would, some years later would graduate number 1 as well. But yeah, it was it changed my life. Boot camp video. I don't have any boot camp. I probably should have. All I have is this one. That's not a boot camp picture. That's way after boot camp. But here's another picture. Me and my brothers playing cards.
I know I have the red book somewhere.
So I'm at boot camp, right? I get to boot camp. I graduate, I come home, and I do what we tell everybody not to do. I did it. Don't go home and get married. Don't go home and get married. Whatever you do not go home and get married. The Marine Corps is not made for people being married. It's going to be rough. It's going to be tough. Don't do it. Blah, 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 blah. And so, you tell somebody not to do something, what do you think happens? I went home and I thought I was doing the right thing, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it. It's part of my life, and without that part of my life, I wouldn't have my beautiful daughters. So that I can never regret. But joined the Marine Corps, man, and I left. I came back. I'm trying to think. Graduated in March, got married in March 1995. And I go to 29 Palms to comm school. And I remember on the board, they were like, hey, there's like 8 Marines going overseas. And these other 24 are going to other units here in the United States. And there was only like maybe 6 of us that were married, I think, in that class that went home and got married, And sure enough, all the guys that were married, we all got picked to go overseas. And we went overseas unaccompanied, which means without your family. That was my first duty station. It was in Okinawa. And I met lifelong friends there, man. Lifelong friends. It was, I got to see the world for the first time, being 19 years old, going to, different countries. Seeing a different country, living in a different country, being away from home for the first time, like for good, like, you know what I mean? You couldn't just pick up the phone. I remember like calling collect, but then telling them not to accept. You would just be like, at the tone, please say your name. Y'all remember that? Calling collect, please say who the collect call's from. And be like, Mom, I love you, don't accept. So then they would call and be like, will you accept the collect call from Mom? I love you, don't accept. Just so they could hear my voice. It was crazy. I did a year a year without my family. I came back. I moved to Beeville. I didn't move to Beeville. I went to Beeville to pick up my family, and that's where another huge block in my life comes. I remember packing. They were there packing up the apartment that I had had for my family while I was gone, and I had orders to go to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and I remember a sheriff or somebody showed up, and he had a little piece of paper, and he's like, "Hey man, you've been subpoenaed to go take a DNA test." It's like, what? I'm freshly married. I got a brand new daughter. My daughter was born while I was stationed in Okinawa. Luckily, I got to come home for 2 weeks, and I was there. I got there 2 days before she was born. And for those Dallas Cowboy fans, that was the last time the Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl. Just thought I'd throw that out there. And I came home, and they gave me that paper, and that paper was like, "Hey man, check this out. You gotta go give some blood." And I'm like, what am I gonna do, dude? Like, I'm a Lance Corporal. I make hardly no money, and now I'm gonna have to pay some child support. Like, dude, what's going on? Like, who? Long story short.
Tell us about what you walked in.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I ended up, they came and told me I had a son who was 5 years old, which means I would have been in 8th grade when my son was born. And that's my son, Lawrence. Great kid. Looks just like me. He lives in Victoria. I have 2 beautiful grandchildren. So if you're watching, Lawrence, mijo, I love you. From the bottom of my heart, I love you. Yeah, that happened. So now I had Jalen, I had Felicia, and now I had Lawrence. And I moved to North Carolina. And there I make some friends, dude. I make some friends that are my brothers. And I cannot tell my story without them. I cannot.
Don't get offended.
Isidro, Mario, Eric, Nathan. Man, if I forget you, I'm sorry. My old neighbors there in Taro Terrace. Those guys are my brothers. It's who we had, and we kind of leaned on each other, and it started a lifetime friendship. It really did. And from there, I got orders. Well, before I left North Carolina, my ex-wife was pregnant again, and I'm like, Jesus, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have, 4 kids now. And lucky I picked up sergeant really quick, so I was getting paid pretty good. And I get orders to Tampa, Florida, to Special Operations Command or Joint Communication Support Element, JCSE. And those are going to be the most, not the most, but it's up there. My life changed drastically in 5 years. It really did. Marriage was on the rocks, leaving North Carolina. I didn't think she really dug the Marine Corps too much, being gone and things like that.
You almost got out, didn't you?
I almost got out. I almost got out. I talked to my dad.
I only know that because Henry told me that.
Yeah, I almost got out, and I remember carrying a conversation with my dad, and my dad's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, Dad, I just want to let you know I'm going to be packing up my house here soon. I'm heading back to Beeville. My time in the Marine Corps is done." And he's like, "What? What do you mean? What do you mean it's done?" And I'm like, "Dad, I'm done." He's like, No, mijo. Hell no." He goes, "There ain't shit here. There ain't shit here. And no offense to any of my brothers in the correction thing. He goes, "The only good jobs around here is a prison. You want to work in a prison?" And I thought about it, like, no, not really. He goes, "Dude, stay there. If you can stay in there." So I went right back, talked to the career jammer. And I said, "Hey, man, is there any way I can stay in?" "Yeah." Boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, I got orders to Florida. Was going to Florida. I showed up to Tampa, and again, my life changed. I got divorced. I wouldn't call it an ugly, well, it was an ugly divorce. It was an ugly divorce in the sense that Felicia, who wasn't biologically mine, I had no say so into what was going to happen with her. And I remember talking to her, I remember seeing the pain in her eyes, telling me, you know, Dad, like, she wanted to come with me, and it was impossible. It was impossible to make that okay for her. And, but we ended up getting divorced, and my ex-wife moved back to Texas, took my daughters back with her, and I was not that I was single, but I met my wife now. If you guys haven't heard the story's pretty comical. I don't know if I'll go deep into the story, more of just, you know, I met her and I'm just so glad that I found her in my life. She's been the rock. She was everything that I ever wanted and everything that I ever needed in my life. I didn't put any pictures of, I didn't want to. But right now, this part of the life, I'm divorced. I got married again. And I met a woman who had 2 children already. And I always say, if you ever watch one of my shows, like when you get married, you know, you have to accept everything that comes with it. And with her having 2 children, her children were my children. And I never saw them any differently. Everybody's like, do it, tell the story. I met my wife.
Tell it all, bro.
Okay. So I was living still at home with my ex-wife. And here's a story. For those of you who didn't watch the episode, I'll make it really quick. I got mad at my ex-wife. I went on a drive. I accidentally hit AM on the radio. I heard some Mexican music. The Mexican music led to a nightclub. I went to the nightclub, and it wasn't like a Mexican music. It was Tejano music. It was more what I was familiar with, and I couldn't believe that there was so many Mexican Americans there. I didn't know that there was so many Mexican Americans in Florida. I thought it was just Cubans and Puerto Ricans and whatnot. So I show up to this place, and I'm all excited. I get drunk. I get really, really drunk on some Budweisers. Shout out to my dad. Gave his whole life to Budweiser. Not that he drank himself to death. No, he worked for Budweiser. So I remember drinking Budweisers, and I ended up home. And the next day I wake up with this huge hangover, and I get up to go use the bathroom. And when I'm in the bathroom, I could smell this marker. Like I could smell the real strong scent of a marker. And so I reach in my pocket, and in my pocket I got a phone number. And I'm like, what in the hell is this? I crumble it up, throw it in the toilet, flush it, whatever. Monday Night Football's coming on. And my ex-wife used to work at nights. Well, the phone rings, and this girl calls. She's like, hey, is this Bumper or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yo, who is this? And why are you calling my phone? Oh, you gave me your number last night. And I was like, what? I said, look, girl, don't ever call this number again. I'm sorry. I was probably intoxicated. Don't ever. Long story short, I go back to the club. The girl shows up. She comes up and says hi to me. Well, lo and behold, who's with her? My wife now. I look at her one time, and when I tell you that I fell in love, like love at first sight, like literally, she won't say the other way around, but I'm telling her, I saw her and I fell in love, dude. Like I was just like, yeah, I did. And next thing you know, we start seeing each other. Boom, 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 boom. Ex-wife moves back to Texas. We get divorced, get married. So now I'm caught back up. So those of y'all want to hear the story, there it was really quick. I get married, and like I said, she has 2 kids, and I accept them as if they're mine. And it was a blessing, man. It was a blessing. Now I had a lot of kids. I had quite a bit of kids. So
6, babe, 6.
before I get to my kids, I'm gonna come off for maybe 15 minutes. It's probably gonna take. I got some video clips that I want to play for you guys that I promised you earlier, and the first one's gonna be from my patriarch, right? My mother. I'll let you hear it. Put this on.
Acapulco.
Here we go.
It was before that, though.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wacky Wednesday. Bumpers, Wacky Wednesday. As what I have to say for Bumper, here it goes. Well, where do I start? Bumper is a very special son. What can I say as his mother? He has touched so many lives in so many different ways. I've always told him he's one of God's disciples for all he's done in his life. I've never ever known of a Marine buddies to stay so close as he has with him. Some have even moved to San Antonio just to be close to him. What an honor to him and me to see this. As a child, Bumper was an awesome son. Being the oldest wasn't easy, but he made it easy. It's like a gift he has within. Always good at all he did. Sports, school, church, and so on. It broke my heart when he came home and told us he was going to join the Marines. But I'm so glad he did, because he made a damn good one. Made all his family proud back here in Beeville. He is a role model to so many. Life has thrown us some ups and downs, but who said life is perfect? It's what you make out of it. He has a lot of his father Fred in him. I know he would be very proud of him and all he's done. I love to hear his stories when he's talking to his buddies of all that they did. So as a mother, I want to thank everybody and anybody that listens to him on his Wacky Wednesday. He is so intelligent. What can I say? Love always, your mom, Lupita Guy.
Yo, thank you, Mom. That was awesome.
Maria said no gaps in Bumper's marriage.
Yeah, real quick, for those of you that are commenting there, I did have no gaps. I literally turned in my divorce papers, and I waited 2 weeks for them to hit the system, and then I turned in my marriage certificate. So I had no lapse in marriage pay, just for the record. That was my mom. Mom, thank you so much. Next up is my brother Henry.
Hey, Bump. Congratulations on your Wacky Wednesday. I enjoy watching it when I can. I mean, I'm pretty busy sometimes. And, it was pretty cool growing up with you. I appreciate what you did for our country. I mean, I know it wasn't easy. It takes a special person to be able to do stuff like that. You've raised some great kids, all of them successful, and I admire you, man. I really do. I've always looked up to you, and I appreciate, you've been checking on Colin and Avery and Amy, and, it means a lot. And I know we don't spend as much time together as we should, but hopefully someday soon we'll be able to do that. It's kind of, just thinking about times when we were young and some of the things that we did, and the special bond that we created, growing up at the Boys and Girls Club, and that it was tough because Dad couldn't go to all our games. He was working all the time, but Mom was there in the stands, cheering her head off. You got to hear Marty. Oh. But thank you for, like I said, your dedication to the Corps and what you did for 20 years straight. Good luck in all your endeavors, and I'm right here beside you. I'll keep the shirt off my back, man, whatever you need. But I love you. I love your family. I love everything that you are about, and just keep doing what you're doing, man. I mean, making people smile and making the world a better place. One Wednesday at a time, right? I love you, brother. Take care.
That was my brother Henry. And Henry, I love you, man. Thank you for being you, bro. Thank you for that video. The next one I got is gonna be a little bit longer, dude, but I didn't hear all of it. I put it on here. I posted on here. Just the first gut check me. So just be ready. It's gonna be my little brother. He's not little, but he's my little brother, Edward.
So Bumper's telling his story. It's only one real thing, story that always sticks out with me and my brother Bumper. The situation at hand. Some of y'all know the story about my grandfather, my papa, my mom's dad. When he passed away. Bumper was at boot camp, and when my grandfather passed away, Bumper got to come home for 3 days for boot camp through Red Cross, and in the middle of the funeral, Bumper had to stand up in the middle of it, and he kissed the coffin, and he walked out with my dad. I always looked up to Bumper, but when he had to do that, I had so much respect for him for doing something like that. My grandfather helped raise all of us. But when Bumper had to do that, it just amazed me that he was able to do that, to have the strength to do that. I've never told him anything, but I loved him for that. I respect him the hell out of him for doing something like that. He made my grandfather proud. But he had to do what he had to do for his career. And I just always remember that. It always stuck out in my head. That Bumper was strong enough to do something like that. He's a loud character. He big cheerleader. And he's been like that since we were kids. He's just always been not rough and tough, but he's kind of rough and tough. Like, he don't give you an inch. You're going to earn every inch of it. Anything from playing basketball with him when we were kids, he did the same thing. You know, he never let me win, never let Henry win. He played like he was going to the NBA. You know, he never let up on us. Made us better for it. But I couldn't have asked for better brothers than I have. They've each gave me things that I like, that I can do with my kids now. I point in my direction now, what I can do based off of, you know, them. They're we don't have our dad no more. So I look to them for strength, for advice. And, yep. To sum up Bumper, he's like a compassionate, like a miracle worker, man. I don't know where he comes up with some of the stuff he comes out with, man, but he's just always there for everybody. He loves his country. All I can say to everybody else, man, is just buckle up your seatbelt and enjoy the ride, because ain't no telling where this shit's going to go with me, Bump. I will call my shot right now and say that in the near future, I say within a year, when this show blows up, and it's not just Wacky Wednesday on Facebook Live, he's got his YouTube channel secure and everything else, Bumper will be pretty much famous around the world. Y'all can mark my words on that. That's going to happen. Alright, Bumper, love you. I'm always here. If y'all need anything, thank you for being one of my heroes. Thank you for everything, man.
That was my brother Edward. Man, that was. I'm glad you guys are hanging in there with me. I'm about halfway done with the videos. So, my sister Monica, I guess she's camera shy. I don't know, but I'll put this up there. She's like, Bumper, who you are to me. This delay is driving me nuts. Who you are to me is a blessing. I learned to cherish. Though we've had our fair share of ups and downs, we have finally made it to a place where happiness, laughter, and acceptance exist. Though you don't know it, nor have I been vocal about it, but you're a big brother. You, big brother, have influenced and taught me things I hold dear. Selflessness. You're giving your life over and over to God, for our country, for your family. It's been beautiful to watch and inspiring always. So who you are to me.
Take your headphones off.
Who you are to me I'm sorry, is someone I am always proud of and someone I am grateful to have in my life and be able to call you my big brother. Our bond is different. Our bond is different but stronger than ever, and continue to shine your light, Bumper. You touch more lives than you know. I love you and happy Wacky Wednesday. Thank you, Monica. Sorry about the echoing, guys. I think I got too close to the mic. But that was from my sister, Monica. I know, the dang echo. Well, so far it's been...
Are you going to leave the headphones connected? Because that may be where your echo's coming from.
well, I do, because I have to hear the other videos. But do y'all still hear echoing, or is it good? Is it good now? Can I get some thumbs up? No more echoing? So next here, I have on a video was from my daughter Jasmine. And again, these are who were not great readers. I'm gonna get on my kids, man. And so if you hear me cry in the background, it's because it's my kids talking to me. So the first one I have coming up is my daughter Jasmine.
Hey Dad, I just want to say a couple of things for your little video for today. I know today is not going to be the easiest speaking on your testimony, but you can do it. Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. Just thank you for always being there for me and for supporting everything I do. You are my #1 fan, and everything I do, I've always said God puts people in your life for a reason, and I believe that He put you in my life for a reason. Thank you. I love you. I'm going to stop because I'm going to keep crying. But I love you, Dad, and you are very strong, and don't let nobody judge you because, like I said, nobody's perfect. Love you. Bye.
So that was my daughter Jasmine. Jasmine, that was... I'm glad you used what I always say. You know, God puts people in your life at a certain time in your life, whenever it might be. It might be it's always for something good. If God puts them in your life, it's always for something good. So I'm glad that I could be the dad that you needed. And I'm still here, and I'll always be here for you. Love you, mija. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Next up, we have my daughter Jalen, who's actually in the field. So forgive her foul mouth. I'm going to go ahead and say that right now. Just forgive her foul mouth. But yeah, here's my daughter Jalen.
What's up, Wacky Wednesday? I'm out here in the field. Dad asked me to make a short video about the show or himself. So, funny story. My boys are actually getting smoked right now because they failed to identify that my radio mount was fucked, and instead of switching it out, they chose not to. So I feel really bad. I don't know if I can't swap this, but poor kiddos. Anyways, call my dad. My dad helped me fix it out. fix it. Fix it out. God, Jesus. Help me fix the problem. But yeah. A little bit about him. I think my dad's a very well-respected individual within the community that he currently lives in and within his hometown. And I think Wacky Wednesday amplifies his voice to a level where it's almost making some sort of an impact. Yeah, my dad's an amazing individual. I look up to him, and I don't really know what else to say. Dad, I hope you edit this because I said quite a bit, but yeah, I hope you all have a great Wacky Wednesday.
He said, "Oh, they can't hear me. I'm talking and nobody could hear me. I'm sorry." Rewind. So that was my daughter Jalen. I literally just helped her today fix a radio through FaceTime, which is pretty cool. I still had it. So all my guys out there in the comm community, I still got it. It was a bad amplifier. Got it. So next up, I'm gonna have on the video is it's gonna be Jesse. So Jesse, here we go, guys.
What it do? So I make this quick video for the pops. I just want to let you know that everything you're doing for Wacky Wednesday, all the people you bring on, and everybody that like comes out and says whatever they have to say, and they're all their different opinions and mindsets and everything like that. I think that's super fucking cool, and I think that's super badass. I feel like everybody around needs to do a lot more of this and just be able to get out there, because everybody you bring on has a different personality, a different outpoint, and different viewpoints of everything. And every topic that you've been hitting is super fucking cool and legit, and just seeing everybody's fucking, just how they see things and just how they grew up basically, and just their opinions on stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So I just want to let you know that it's super fucking cool, and I'm super proud and super stoked that you're doing that, Pops, and I really it's a lot, and it means a lot to a lot of people, and I know a lot of people go on there and watch it every day. But I just want to let you know, Pops, that I love you and that I appreciate you, that I appreciate everything that you've done for us. And I know that everything that you've done, everything that we've been through and everything like that has been rough, especially when we were younger and shit, but it was all for a fucking reason. You raised us and you brought us up to be fucking hard, fucking working people. And you too, Mom. Don't worry, you're not excluded. But yeah, Pops, you fucking raised us, especially the boys, you raised us to be good men, fucking dudes that, just good all around dudes, that are solid and everything, that stand for what they believe in. And I just want to let you know, Pops, that I love you and I appreciate everything that you do for all of us. Thank you.
Man, that was a newly civilian, Jess, I love you, man. Thank you for serving our country. Jalen, thank you for serving our country. Jesse, welcome to the real world, son. Next up, last but not least, the party animal of the bunch. I don't know where she gets it from. I really don't. Time out.
I have a message from Jackie whenever you're ready.
Oh, okay. All right. You want to do? Yeah, we'll do Lena right now. So, guys, here's Lena.
Hey everyone, it's Lena. I just wanted to make this video to tell my dad that I am so proud of him for making this, this what at once used to be a little show into like this big journey for, you know, a couple hundred people in our community, not even more of thousands, and reaching out to people in ways that, you know, we never thought we would reach out, and also allowing us, your children, being a part of this journey with you. It's super exciting. It's also exciting to hear everyone's stories throughout the time, but I think this episode is going to be a little bit more exciting and a little different and deep, which I'm super happy about, because I mean, you guys know my dad, but he's never really went too in depth of his own life and his own story. So I think this will be a huge chance for you guys to listen and get a glimpse of who my dad is. And I'm saying a glimpse because I mean, who could tell their whole life story in 2 hours, you know? I just want to say thank you to all the viewers, and thank you to my dad for involving us to the fullest. Love you.
Mike. Jesus, I keep turning the mic off, man. Golly. I've been talking the whole time and nobody can hear. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I was saying Atlanta's a special. She's special. I know I can't. No, here they come. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. I said I'm grateful for all the amount of viewers that I've been getting. I think I need to wear a suit more often. People probably stop by and be like, "Yo, he's wearing a suit, dude. Must be something important going on." Okay, we're gonna start with the jokes. Gilstrap, please draw how to turn this mic on with crayons. So yeah, man, those are some messages from my kids. We got one more. My daughter, who's in college, was extremely busy, so she wrote a note. Babe, you gonna read it on your mic?
Yeah, let me find it.
You got to find the message. Okay.
I got it.
Yeah, I know, and I say I'm a calm guy.
Do I have to turn his mic on?
The mic you have to turn on. Yes, ma'am. It's a message from my daughter.
Okay, everyone, this message is from Jackie because she's working on a paper that has to be turned in, so she didn't have time to write a video. So, my dad is something crazy, and watching his Wacky Wednesdays grow into what they are now is amazing. Because it's something that my dad has a passion for doing, and I want to see him grow that passion. It's amazing how small Facebook turned into what it is. And thank you everyone that is watching. And she says, I'm still working, so I didn't have time to record. Jackie.
Thank you, baby. Keep doing what you're doing, and hey, don't worry about not making a video. You're going to school. That's all that matters to me.
And she doesn't have Facebook, so she won't see this.
So everybody gave me a message except one person. Because I sit across from her all day long. So I'm not going to put her on the spot. But she
One person? Really? Juanito?
Huh? Oh, yeah, Juanito. He's supposed to come in here. Where is he?
The one who always Can you tell him
We got one.
Let me ask him if he wants to.
Yeah, if he wants. My son Juanito, as you could tell, I what do you call it? She says, because we always butt heads. This is my mini-me, thinks just like me, acts just like me. I think that's the reason we're always bumping heads. But I'm going to see if he'll come on here. I don't know if he'll talk or not. Of course, without a shirt.
It wouldn't be him.
Walk right there and don't step on nothing. All right, ladies, put your goggles on.
Lennox on it.
So, what you want to say?
First things first, how you doing, Facebook? I don't know how much people are watching or whatnot, but what I want to say about my dad is he's a jack of all trades. If you know him, like fully know him, you know that he turned nothing into something. You know, he came a long way from small town. Did a lot. He did a lot for us and whatnot. Did probably most of the shit he ever wanted to do for us. But yeah, this is my pops. Love this man. He's an outstanding guy. Once you really get to know him, I don't know, you really understand him. It's more of someone that you want to be around every day. But that's all I have to say. I'm all choking up. Bye.
Hey, so thank you. And Nito, and the reason I didn't is because I wrote everybody that sent me something, and you were not on the check mark.
That's my plan.
So, yeah, sorry guys, ladies, sorry about the X-rated stuff. This guy doesn't wear a shirt for some reason. I think I know why. You saw him flexing. He was flexing while he was. So your sister said flexing or not. But yeah, man, this is a big part of my story. Are my children. Each one of them is on their own path, which is good. And I just wanted tonight just to kind of like why I do the Wacky Wednesdays and kind of give you a feel of like I give everybody's story, and I really hadn't said my story, and my daughter was right on point by saying for me to give 2 hours to give my total history would be hard. But I just wanted to kind of give you kind of a glimpse of like what molds me to be how I am, the way I think, the way I am with my children. People have always asked like, what have me and my wife we each have done to get these kids to do what they're doing and be. And to be honest with you, I can't take a lot of credit. I can't. I know it's real easy for people to say, "Oh, Bump, you raise your kids." It's easy to say that, but doing it is something totally different. And that's where I'll come on here and I'll tell you that I owe that to the lady sitting in this room across from me that I see every day because we share the office. But I owe her my life. And when I say that, I mean that with so much sincerity, so much love. Like there's nothing I could tell, there's nothing I can give you to ever repay you for all the years of putting up with our kids and being there, being a single mom. Shout out to single moms. I know it's not easy, but she did it and she made it work. 8 kids, and somehow, some way, she made it work every time I was gone. So, Weecha, thank you. I love you for that. Military wife, man. People like part 2 next week. Nah, there won't be part 2. Definitely not part 2.
It was an easy job. I just had to make sure that they stayed on the track. He set the example. I just had to make sure that they, like I said, I had to make sure they didn't derail from our expectations. We set high standards for them, but we also let them be their own individuals. And I think that's why they're all turned out to be great kids, because everyone's doing different things, doing big things, to say the least. They're all their own individual person. I can't think of, maybe I can. I can think of 2 of the kids that are probably exactly alike, and that would have to be Jalen and Jackie. But I can honestly say that they are all great kids, and you set the example, babe. I think the example that you set, I just had to make sure that all the kids were intact when you came home from deployment. So, so to me, that was easy. To me, it was easy. I made it easy. I guess I could say I made it look easy, but it was easy. I wouldn't change anything about it.
So, those of you that maybe ever had thought like, hey, you see my kids on Facebook or you see us congratulating them about something, the ones in the military, like, oh, Bumper, they that's what they know. They push them to do that. Hell no. That was the last thing I ever wanted for my kids was to join the military. But they each have their own path. You know, they each have their own path, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Before I get off, I got to pay some bills, so just bear with me for like maybe 1 minute while I put some people on here that help me take care of me and kind of keep me going throughout the week. Not throughout the week, you know, they help me out here and there. So here's my buddy Rene Zarazua with Zarazua Law. I've had him on here as a guest. So here goes. So y'all looking for Zarazua Law, 210-538-2786. If you're in San Antonio and you need a good lawyer, hit him up. Renee's an awesome guy, man. Awesome, awesome guy. Jacob wants to say something. Go ahead, Jacob.
Someone on here said they wanted to hear Jacob. So here he is. Hold on a second. Someone wanted to say they wanted to hear him. So
Hello,
say hello, guys.
Hello, guys. What? I need the headphones.
No, this is for something different. But here, you can have the headphones. Give me 1 second. You're like,
All right, so here's
hold on, he's not there. Here, say something.
Hello. I don't hear something.
okay. And this next one, bear with me. This next one is something that literally just happened last week. If you tuned in last week, you got to see the background for the first time. But my tío and my primo came in from out of town. They're remodeling perfectionists. They do custom homes. They can do all kinds of different construction. If you need anything from concrete laid out outside, a new porch, you want to put up a wall for an office, something like that, hit up my primo, man. Here's his little stint that I have for him. So hit him up. It's Iron Eagle Construction. Call for all your remodeling needs. You can be reached at 832-435-0500. Again, that's 832-435-0500, Iron Eagle Construction. They'll go anywhere here in Texas. Just hit them up, and they'll take care of you, man. So they did our office / studio, and they did an amazing job. We love the way it came out. So shout out to my primo Julian Garza. If you need him, that's his stuff right there. I got about 6 minutes because I do want to keep it at 2 hours. Joining the Marine Corps, man, and I kind of stopped right there, right after my kids. My life revolves around my children. It still does. It always will. And I want to tell them wherever they're at, because the house is getting emptier and emptier, that I love y'all, and I'm proud of every single one of y'all. And y'all keep being you, keep being who you are. Me and Mom will always be here for you. What else, man? What else did I want to cover that I didn't do? I didn't drink tonight. If y'all didn't notice, I didn't drink. I wanted to, but then I'm like, nah. Kind of wanted to stay away from that. But life's been good, man. Life has been good. We lived in California after we left Florida. We lived in California for 13 years, 14 years. Made lifelong friends there. People that are on here still to this day. We met friends in California. That's our second home. San Clemente, California is our second home, without a doubt. I'd pick up there and move there in a heartbeat. I say that all the time. It's just expensive as hell. But we loved it there. My kids grew up there in the beach community. It was a great surrounding, great people. It's crazy. While I was there, a little highlight, right? While I was there, I got into coaching football. And it just so happens that coaching football brings different kids in your life. And never in a million years did I ever think that I would coach the number 2 draft pick of the 2017 or 18 draft, Sam Darnold, which is the starting quarterback for the New York Jets. Played for me as a little kid. He's a great kid. He was my son's quarterback, Jesse's quarterback, when they started high school as freshmen, and then we got orders to Texas. So no telling what him and Jesse could have done on the football field if Jesse would have stayed there his whole 3 years, or his whole 4 years. But yeah, we lived in San Clemente, and while I was there, I deployed so many times. It's like I said, my daughter said 2 hours to put my life story in here is hard, but just kind of hit up some points, just combat deployment after combat deployment after combat deployment. It got old. It got really old, and finally the Marine Corps said, "Hey man, you have a lot of kids." Shout out to Ken Etherton. It's nice to know people in high places sometimes, and he looked out for me and he saw there was a spot here in San Antonio, Texas, where he knew I thought I might want to retire at, and they gave me orders here to San Antonio. So we packed up the house and we moved here to San Antonio, and the rest is history, man. San Antonio is our home. I actually wanted to retire in Florida area, in Brandon. That's where I wanted to retire from. That's where my wife's from, that area. And my wife, being from Florida, she wanted to retire here in San Antonio. Kind of the opposite. So, right, happy wife, happy life. So we're here in San Antonio. Other than the allergies, I mean, it's a cool place and it's hot as hell. I love our culture. I love being here. It's cool, man. I've met some great people here in San Antonio. I've had them on my show. I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to sum up tonight's show with. Like, surround yourself with positive people, man. You'd be so surprised how your life will change by just surrounding yourself with positive people. If you surround yourself with negative people every single day, day in and day out, man, you're going to think negatively. Everything is going to be negative, negative, negative. Did I used to be that negative person? Yes. I'll be the first to tell you. I deal with a lot of things dealing with the Marine Corps, but I learned to deal with them, and God has been a huge part of my life, and I wasn't gonna hang up tonight without mentioning that. And again, I want to reach out to I want to thank my mom and my grandmother for showing me at a young age my faith. Getting older and kind of not leaving my faith, because I was always Catholic. I was always a proud Catholic, but I wasn't a practicing Catholic. And my wife lassoed me up and said, "Hey, no more Sunday footballs. You're going to get your butt up and you're going to church with us." And that led to just bigger and bigger and bigger things, and I got more involved in the church. I've done so many things with our St. Paul Parish here in San Antonio. I love my second family. It is, I think, like 20 miles away from my house. And if you know San Antonio, there's a Catholic church every 2 miles, but we call that home. And I love my church community, and it's been a big part of my life. It's part of my life every day. It really is. My wife works for a retreat that we really, really believe in, and with that being her job and being part of her life, well, it's part of our life, and all our kids have experienced it. They've all left the house, and they still continue to be practicing Catholics, and it makes my heart smile that they're still doing that. So there was a small, maybe 3 or 4 chapters of my life. I mean, I could really open it up and got really, really detailed, but just trying to keep it under 2 hours. I'm already over by a minute. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in, man. I probably had one of the largest viewing things.
Going back to the Axe Retreat, would you say the Axe Retreat changed your life or helped you transition from that hardcore, hard-hearted Marine to soft bumper?
To the viewers.
I'm sorry, soft, God-loving bumper.
Excuse the last comment about soft bumper. Soft bumper doesn't exist. But to answer your question, babe, the retreat, you know, they like to say that it doesn't change people's life. It's all what you take, but it really helped me change my life. It was I did my retreat when my life needed it. God put me there at the, you know, put Jimmy there in my life at that time, made me go to the retreat, and I'll never look back. It really opened my eyes, and it did help me become from a Marine to a civilian. To all my Marines, whether you're still in, whether you've gotten out, all my service members, not just Marines, thank you guys for your service. I've loved either serving aside you, because I've served beside all of you, but being your leader, I'll take those memories with me to the grave. Like, the camaraderie is just like no other. You know, it's an honor and a privilege to serve alongside of men of your caliber. And I've mentioned it in my episodes before. You guys are like some of you are like my kids. Some of you are like my brothers. Just depending on when I had you in my life in the Marine Corps, and I wanna thank y'all for staying in my life, for staying in my kids' lives. You guys are second uncles to my kids, and those of y'all that have been around me, you know that I got some Marine brothers that, I mean, they know my kids, you know, more than my blood brothers, just because they've been around them long enough. But yeah, babes, I don't know if that answered your question, but you know, is there any comments that I didn't hit before I say my goodbyes that you wanna?
No, comments that you didn't hit.
Or I'm just saying that.
I wanted you to mention something about the annex, because Jonathan has been watching with the whole night. I'm sorry, Rose has been watching the
Okay.
whole night. And he was someone that the kids, he was an influence to the kids, and he may not know it, but.
So my wife mentioned the annex. The annex was my last duty station. We were in charge of the wounded warriors for the central part of the United States, which the headquarters just happened to be here in San Antonio, and I got to meet great warriors, superheroes, real superheroes, dudes who don't wear capes. You know what I mean? Who had given the ultimate. Some have given the ultimate sacrifice for the country. Some have given their limbs, and they were recovering. And to see the camaraderie there, to see them rise from the ashes, as I should say, was just amazing. Rose, I love you, brother. I love you. Your story is awesome. And, you know, one day maybe I'll get you on here. I can get you on here remotely and we can do your story. But thanks for tuning in week after week. And again, congratulations on being a young father. But yeah, the annex really changed my life. It really humbled me and let me be who I was. It helped me become who I am on my way out. Somebody asked about ACTS. ACTS stands for Adoration, Community, Theology, and Service. That's what it stands for those. So again,
I have a comment from your sister, if you don't mind. She didn't write the video, but I don't know if you saw that in the thread. Can I read that?
My sister has a comment?
Marisa, yes.
Oh, okay, read it. Go ahead.
Okay, so she says...
Sorry, guys.
What can I say that everyone hasn't already said? It is truly an honor to call you my brother. I have always looked up to you since as long as I can remember. You have been more than a brother to me and a father figure too. I live with you in Florida and in Cali, and because of you, I was able to see life outside of Bevo, Texas. Thank you for always being there for me and mine. Thank you for always listening to me and giving me advice. I truly admire you and the man you are. You are one of the greatest men in the world. that I get to call my brother. Thank you for being who you are, bro. I love you.
Thank you, Mari. Man, I would have been really upset if I would have ended the show without reading that. Thank you. She turned that in late. She turned that in late for the record, but we got it in there. So to my faithful viewers and those of you just tuned in today, I do this every Wednesday around 7:30. I've been doing it for almost 20 weeks probably since COVID started. It started off silly. It's gotten serious. It's gotten funny, serious. You just never know what I'm gonna bring to the table.
Jonathan wants to do a remote call.
He wants to do I wish I could get him on right now, but next one, Rose. I'll get you on next one. I want to. Man, I was saying bye to the Marines. I said bye to my kids. To all my faithful viewers, keep watching, man. One week might be for you, the next week might not be. It is what it is. I know I'm not going to please everybody. My stand on some things you might disagree with, and that's okay. I see it every day on social media. If you're unfriending people because of political or religious or Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter, any of that stuff, dude, for real, like you're really gonna quit a friendship that you've had, your whole life, or whatever friendship you have over that. I mean, come on, be adults about it, man. You can agree to disagree, right? That's what makes this country great. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, I've said it a million times. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope that my story kind of gives you a glimpse, just a slight glimpse of why I am the way I am and who I am. To my mom, love you. All my primos and primas, whenever you're in San Antonio, hit me up, man. I would love to get you guys. To my Aguirre family, real quick before I forget, if you see Bert, push him to come do Wacky Wednesday. I've been trying to reach out to him, but he gives me like ah. So Bert, Primo Bert, I want to get you on here, man. I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Keep being you. Keep doing you. Pick somebody up. Don't walk over somebody. Right? You never know when you're standing next to somebody who just needs that smile from you, or just needs that pat on the back, or just needs an eyebrow raise, whatever. You never know what people are going through. Just be that for somebody. Thank y'all for tuning in. Love you guys. Good night.